Welcome back to Voltage Bros, your ultimate destination for all things movies. My name is Jerem.
And I'm Kenny, and today we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite Pixar movies.
Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.
Now without further ado, let's review. We're going to start with 5 and work our way up. This was hard.
This is a difficult decision for you?
No.
Oh.
No, I had like 7 Pixar movies that I knew were top 7, and then I had to rearrange accordingly. Everything after 7, I didn't really care about that much.
Okay.
I don't know about you. My number 5, Onward. I feel like this one isn't in your top 5. Maybe it is. But personally, this is one of my favorites because it's just so wholesome. I mean, a lot of Pixar movies are really wholesome. But in this case, it's about brothers. Go check out our top movies with brothers. This is on the list as well.
It's on his list.
On my list, not his. But I loved it mainly because the brother wasn't jealous or anything of the powers, right? He was just helping his brother, and it was awesome and wholesome.
Kenny
and
wishes he had a brother like that.
I do.
I like Onward. It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
For a Pixar movie, it's one of those ones where you don't realize what's happening until the very end, and then it hits you with those Pixar feelings that you want to feel when you go to Pixar movies. You don't realize the whole time what they're building up of the relationship between the brothers, and then it all hits you at the end. I like the Pixar movies where it hits you all the way through, but right now we're starting at number 5.
Okay,
so
stick to 5.
My number 5 is Monsters University.
University?
Yes.
Oh, the second one.
Yes.
Okay.
So the reason I like Monsters University and some of my other picks is I'm more nostalgic for the movies I saw when I was a teenager for some reason instead of the movies when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So I think if I was maybe 5 years older, I might have more of a connection to Monsters, Inc.
Gotcha.
But for some reason, I watched this when I was a little bit older and could understand it and feel it a little bit more. And I just love the music in that movie. And I love the bond that they create. I love the little villain setup. It's just great.
Yeah.
And it's got really good lines,
Yeah.
like Mike Wazowski as a kid.
Russell. Mike? Wazowski? We carpool? We're cousins.
I have a soft spot for movies that people coming together after they don't like each other.
Right.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
I have a soft spot for those movies.
Right. I do like how that movie ends as well, is they both failed.
Yeah.
Really? They flunked out. But then you see the progression throughout the credits or something about first day on the mail job.
Yeah.
Right. And now they're obviously like each other.
Yeah.
Right.
So as a prequel, it works because
It was a good prequel.
for prequels, you're like, oh, we already know what's going to happen to these characters. But then
Right.
it's like,
But actually,
not
there's
the
still
way
a
you
twist.
thought. So I'll do my number 4 next.
Go for it.
My number 4 is maybe another not so popular choice, which is The Good Dinosaur. Another nostalgic movie for me. I watched when I was a teenager.
I knew this was going to be on your list.
I love this movie because the animation is so pristine. I know that kind of puts some people off between the animation between the actual animals and the world. But
Yeah.
I had that picture of the leaves as my background picture when
Yeah.
I was in high school. Even though there's some quirks, like he turns into Super Dinosaur at the end. I love the journey that he has. It reminds me of a journey of like the Greek gods. They go and they meet the different characters. They learn their lessons along the way. And some people don't like that because those characters, they never come back. But I see it as a way for Arlo to grow. And also, the music is fantastic in that one as well.
Yeah, whenever I think of The Good Dinosaur, I think of like the water scene where he's flailing around in the water. And that's super pristine, as you said, animation.
The animation does make you feel it more.
Okay, my number 4 is Inside Out 1. I almost had Inside Out 2 on this list, but I think it would be number 6. But Inside Out 1, I still like it better than the second one. Kind of like what you said. You like Pixar movies that hit you in the feels throughout the whole movie. Inside Out 1, I feel like does that because you grow with Riley.
I would die for Riley.
And so it's super impactful the whole time.
Inside Out is the most Pixar movie of all the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
Emotions have emotions.
Right. And honestly, I think it was one of the harder ones to make simply because you have emotions as characters, right? That's not an easy thing to do.
And you don't want to make it just a joke.
Right. He's angry, so he's angry.
Wait, did he just say we couldn't have dessert?
Yeah, it's more than that, right? It's deeper. On to my number 3 then.
Okay.
Up, because it's such a classic. You were talking about childhood. I don't know when Up came out exactly, but I just grew up watching it. And then I recently watched it. And just that relationship between the grandpa and the kid is super good and funny and wholesome. I just love it.
That one is pretty great. I love that one as well. My only gripe with that one is that they had to throw a villain in there when there was already so much conflict between the characters growing together.
Yeah.
And, they're in a new place with the nature. I like the nature conflict of The Good Dinosaur as well.
Yeah.
So that movie has a lot of heart. Loses points for me just because of villain.
I promise to capture the beast alive.
Okay. I like
Classic
the villain.
villain.
Yeah, that's true. Classic villain.
Okay, my number 3 is Wall-E. And I love Wall-E so much because there's not a lot of talking. And I love how they can portray the emotions by little beeps and boops. It also is just a classic story of down on his luck guy, loner dude, wants to find love.
But he's a robot.
And he sees someone that's way out of his league, but he goes for it anyway. And he shows his love. And she realizes that he's done so much for her. And they're compatible. It's so great.
Yeah. I think the only times they really talk during the movie is when they say Wally and Eve.
Wally. Eve.
Except for the humans talking, but, well, I mean, they talk quite a bit, but they're not the main focus.
And the music as well in that one.
Super
It's
good.
great.
Yeah.
My number 2 is The Incredibles.
The Incredibles.
And I chose this one because it's awesome. I don't know what to say other than that. Man, it's just so well made. What can I say?
That was totally wicked!
Well, it's the perfect family movie.
Yeah.
Because all these movies are wholesome, but this movie is about a family, right? A family who has some issues, not huge ones, but normal family issues, right? Siblings not getting along, sometimes parents not getting along, not agreeing on things, but throughout the movie they figure it out.
It's the perfect family movie without being too stereotypical.
Right.
Because the dad definitely fits the dad role.
Right.
The mom definitely fits the mom role. The teenage girl definitely fits the teenage girl role. But they still have their own personality within that role.
Right.
And it's got some intense moments, man. That plane scene, I go back and watch that plane scene all the time.
Yeah, it's good.
This is 89er. Yeah, that's intense.
It is.
Heart rate gets going every time I watch that scene.
Disengage, repeat, disengage! Southwest of your position. Angels 10, track east. Disengage, over. Mayday, mayday! India Gulf 909er is buddy spike. Abort, abort! There are children aboard.
That is super good, especially when the risk goes up because her kids are there.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least they don't bring along the baby.
It's also the perfect Pixar movie to watch as a kid and watch as an adult. Because you don't realize what's happening between the parents until you watch it later when you're older.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Every age can watch it and get something different because of their age.
Yeah. And as a kid, I was definitely like, I'm Dash. I'm
Right.
so good.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah, that's true. I'm fast. My number 2 is Cars. Number 1, obviously. 2 and 3 aren't even close. I love Cars just because I've always loved cars, meaning like the automobile.
Yep.
Right? Especially as a kid. I played with Hot Wheels. I still play with Hot Wheels. And so cars that are able to talk, right? And specifically race cars. I love it. And almost that same relationship that we keep talking about between like Mater and Lightning McQueen and all of them. They all have their own personality, but each of them grow. Lightning McQueen, Doc Hudson, all of them. Yeah, and I just love it. Probably mainly because of Cars, and the music is great.
Yeah.
And it's such a classic. It's awesome.
one of my favorite things about Cars is the comedy.
Yeah,
It's got so many
super good.
quotable lines.
Yeah.
Where Sally is like talking about how she used to be on California and she misses
Yeah.
it, and he's like, "Was it a what does it say? Was it a Porsche?"
Oh,
like-
yeah.
Like a Porsche or something like
Yeah.
that. Like that's such a good line.
She is a Porsche too.
And then I'm the world's best backwards driver.
Shoot, I'm the world's best backwards driver. Just watch this right here, lover boy.
Oh, and I knew I made a good choice. In what?
Oh, what?
In my best friend.
I knowed I made a good choice.
In what?
My best friend.
Oh, and also when they drive into court and they're all talking about gas.
Yeah.
And they all start laughing. She's like, calm down, boys. Like, that's a really
I
good
love
one.
that. I got lots of gas.
I have gas. Lots of gas.
Okay, boys, stay with me.
Awesome. Well, am I doing my number one and then you, or I feel like I know what yours is.
Guess mine.
Yours is Finding Nemo.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Mine is Finding Nemo because it's that Pixar movie that has hits along the whole way. Like every scene is like, oh, this is the best scene. And then it moves on to the next one. Wait a second, this one's more intense and this is the best scene. It's got jellyfish, it's got whale, it's got undersea creature with the light, it's got Nemo trying to get the rock inside, it's got woo-ha-ha, it's got every single hard-hitting moment in every scene. The best part about it is that Marlin is like the main character and it's called Finding Nemo, and you're like, this is about Nemo and his kids,
Right.
but it's actually kind of more of like for dads.
Daddy's here. Daddy's got you.
Daddy.
That's true. Does it hit you more now that you are a dad?
I haven't
Have you
watched it
since
since
having
having a kid, but now I got to.
a kid? Yeah, better rewatch it. What I find interesting about Finding Nemo too is Nemo isn't helpless. It's not just about Merlin or Marlin finding his son and just his son waiting. You know, his son is doing stuff. He's trying to escape.
All right,
Yeah.
you're number one.
My
I'm
number
guessing
one.
yours is Cars 2.
No.
Oh,
I don't love Cars 2, but I do love Wall-E.
that's your number one?
Yeah, that's my number one, which was your number three. For similar reasons as you stated, there's not much talking. Most of their communication is through beeps and boops. And Eve or
Yep.
Wall-E. And even at the end when Eve is panicking because Wally's like dead, and she's like, Wall-E, Wall-E.
That's such a good
Right?
scene.
So good, right? Yeah,
It's
so,
so good.
awesome. Get the sun, and then just wait. And then all the scenes with the captain, where he stands up and it's really intense music. Dun, dun,
Oh, yeah.
right? And everyone's like super inspired because their captain stood up. I just think it's really amazing. And then the scene where Wall-E is flying around with a fire extinguisher, right? That's super, like,
Define dance.
cinema, right? Yeah, it's awesome. So that's why it's my number one.
And then after Wall-E, they come down to the Earth and they all turn into monsters because of the radiation.
Right. So Monsters Inc.
Yep, is next after that one.
Yeah, right. Pixar theory.
Well, Kenny,
Well, Jerem,
I had a good time talking to you about top 5 Pixar movies. Give us your top 5 Pixar movies in the comments below. Let us know what are your favorites and why. And make sure to subscribe.
and like this video if you want to see more of these kinds. And as always, let's bolt.